Radio, WZZN.
I'm Jerry Willis, and this is the Fox Business Report.
A choppy trading session with stocks mostly lower to kick off the most packed week in months on Wall Street's calendar. 5 of the Magnificent 7 big-cap tech stocks are slated to report earnings this week, along with a large chunk of S&P 500 companies. There's also the Fed's April meeting, which begins on Tuesday and could be the last for Fed Chair Jerome Powell. His successor, Kevin Warsh, is expected to take over before the Fed's June meeting. In the meantime, oil prices continue to spike with U.S. crude. Shares of Domino's Pizza are plunging nearly 10% after the pizza chain delivered a disappointing quarter. Its earnings decline was primarily due to $30 million in losses associated with the company's investment in a food delivery service. Shares of Verizon are popping nearly 4% after reporting an upbeat quarter and raising its outlook. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
You're probably listening to this in your car, so let me ask you, would you drive without insurance? Of course not. So why is your retirement portfolio unprotected? Gold is portfolio insurance. It helps de-risk your savings when markets get unpredictable. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of Americans do exactly that, with no high-pressure sales and thousands of 5-star reviews. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decisions.
This is Talk Radio, WZZN.
1819 News.
For Andrea Tice, I'm Carl Brady. A federal appeals court has overturned an $8.2 million defamation verdict involving former Alabama Supreme Court Chief Justice Roy Moore. A 3-judge panel from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit ruled Moore failed to prove that the Senate Majority PAC acted with what's known as actual malice in a 2017 campaign ad. The ad referenced sexual misconduct allegations first reported by The Washington Post. Moore's legal team says he may appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. More Alabama news coming after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness license plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org. That's ATEASE.org.
An Alabama teen battling a rare and aggressive cancer is now set to receive an experimental treatment after his story goes viral. Will Roberts, who is fighting osteosarcoma, gained access to the investigational therapy Deltarex G just hours after an emotional social media plea spread widely. According to his family, Dr. Mehmet Oz helped connect them with doctors in California. The family says they'll soon be traveling to Santa Monica to begin treatment. A homicide investigation in Birmingham is underway after a shooting near the Greyhound bus station Sunday just before 6 p.m. Police say they found a man suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. He was taken to UAB Hospital where he died from his injuries. The investigation is ongoing.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This is Talk Radio, WZZN.
Trash Panda Nation, ignite the fun, let's rock it.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back for 6 games, April 28th through May 3rd. Promotions include a James Spann bobblehead giveaway on the 28th, post-game fireworks to close out the night on the 1st and the 2nd, and kids run the bases after the game on the 3rd. Get your tickets and learn more about weekly promos by visiting tptix.com. That's tptix.com.
Let's rock it.
Hey, I'm Bobby White, and we're making room for new shipments during our spring cleanout at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. With your good credit, save thousands with 3.9% financing for up to 84 months on new 25 F-150s with STX 4x4s starting at under $44,000. New 25 Explorers start at under $36,000, or choose 2.9% for up to 84 months. Get 5.9% financing for up to 84 months on new 25 Broncos, or choose $2,750 customer cash plus 2-year 24,000-mile complimentary maintenance. And while they last, new 25 Bronco Sports come with your choice of $2,500 customer cash or 5.9% financing for up to 84 months. And there's never any hidden markups or dock fees. Don't miss your chance to save big with spring clean-out pricing on all new 25s. We hope to see you real soon at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline in Decatur, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement, it's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Introducing The Golfus, Huntsville's newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue. Play over 2,000 courses with state-of-the-art simulator technology, perfect for golfers of all skill levels. For a limited time, grab an unlimited membership for just $99 a month, or book with our grand opening pricing. It's the best value in Huntsville. Check us out at thegolfus.com.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Fox 54 Weather Impact meteorologist Emily Owen. We'll see partly sunshine for this Monday across the Tennessee Valley. High temperatures warming back into the low 80s for the afternoon. Heading into our Monday night, a round of showers and potentially a few thunderstorms will move through. We'll see low temperatures fall into the low 60s for the overnight.
Your Fox 54 forecast, only on Talk Radio WZZN. This is The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN. A compassionate, conservative, reasoned voice. Not just for today's headlines, but for issues that matter to you. Perspective from a distinguished career of service in the U.S. Army. Courage from hours in the pilot seat of a military helicopter in war and in peace. Knowledge of cultures from around the world. Experience from a lifetime of service to America. What matters to you, from the dinner table to the halls of power. Conservative, compassionate, reason. That's The Point.
Welcome, fellow Alabama friends, citizens, and patriots, one and all. This is The Point with Bill Crawford, and this is April 27th in the year of our Lord 2026. You know, folks, there is so much that happened this weekend. It's kind of hard to even begin to summarize it, but I'll try to do the best I can to give a recap of some of the big things that happened this weekend. And also want to let you know that today our first guest is going to be Corey Hill, who is the a candidate for the Commissioner of Agriculture in the state of Alabama, and you will be surprised when you learn all the stuff that is involved in being the Commissioner of Agriculture. But on to some of the weekend news highlights. I'm sure unless you were living in a convent or a monastery or under a rock, you probably are aware that our president and a lot of people in Washington at the Correspondents' Dinner were charged by a gunman this past weekend. It's kind of a bizarre incident where he somehow broke through the outer ring of security, had a whole bunch of weapons with him, fired a lot of shots, hit a Secret Service agent who was wearing a bulletproof vest, but he didn't kill anybody, but the event was canceled thereafter. Just a few minutes ago, he was charged with 3 felony counts, attempting to assassinate the president and discharging firearms, and one more, I forget what it was, but the guy was named Cole Allen, 31 years old. And interestingly, he has an engineering degree and he was a teacher, so I don't know what could possibly have happened to somebody like that, but it looks like he's going to be in a whole heap of trouble. And that's, I think that's the third time so far that somebody has tried to do harm to the president, and he didn't get very close, but I'm glad they got him. We don't need to express our discontent and disappointment at opposing political ideas through the use of violence. So that was probably the main story of the weekend. Also in another story, which is absolutely, completely unrelated. The NFL draft happened this weekend, and Alabama fared pretty well. And Alabama defensive tackle Caden Proctor was taken number 12. Quarterback Ty Simpson, who there was a lot of a speculation as to whether or not he would be a first-round draft choice. Well, not only was he a first-round draft choice, he went fairly high in the draft, number 13 to the Los Angeles Rams. And also, Auburn had a first-round draft pick, and that was Kendrick Falk, who went to the Tennessee Titans as the number 31 pick overall. And all in all, Alabama, I think, had 10 players drafted, and Auburn had 5 or 6. It went pretty well for both state schools. One other thing about the football draft that probably escapes most people's attention except mine, because I like to see what the service academies are doing. And by the way, a lot of people come up and ask me because they know that I do a radio show on Army football. They say, can service academy people play football? Well, the answer is yes. Service academy athletes from all three, Army, Navy, and Air Force, they can play in the NFL, but they still owe a military service commitment after graduation. But there's only a few, like 3 or 4 per team, that are allowed to go into professional sports like the NFL. They have to delay their active duty service, and they still have to serve in the reserves while they are playing football. And it's about 3 athletes per academy. Navy had 2 players drafted. One was Eric Heidenreich, who gave me nightmares last year at the Army-Navy game. And Army didn't have any players drafted, but we had 2 players sign contracts. One was the leading receiver in Army football history, Noah Short, and another was linebacker Andon Thomas. Noah Short went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Thomas went to the Baltimore Ravens. So congratulations to those young men. I'll be following their careers closely and probably be talking about them during football season. Hopefully to be talking about them during football season. Another thing that today is a bad reminder to many people is this is April 27th, and this is the anniversary of the outbreak of tornadoes that happened 15 years ago here in Alabama. I know over 250 people perished on that day, and there were 3 waves of tornadoes that swept through the state. And Brian, do you have a memory of that day?
I do. I was right in the middle of my service at WAFF-TV, and obviously we had settled in for a day of extended coverage of all these storms, and just seeing the video come back of the devastation of the area out in Limestone County and on through here. And that was the day, too, on social media, and I've got it somewhere in my files, of the picture of the tornado funnel over First Baptist Church on Governor's Drive.
Wow.
And it was just, it was the longest day, and just so much sadness and devastation going through that I'll be glad if we never do that again.
Well, I hope we never do that again either. I'll tell you my memory because it's rather different. It's kind of bizarre. I was taking my son to West Point. He was on a recruiting trip to play football up there, and I was going up there too. I was mentoring some cadets in their engineering program in a cockpit design competition. We had a flight that left Huntsville at 6 a.m. We got on the plane. It wasn't very full, and the pilot came over the intercom, and he said, folks, he said, He told the stewardesses to stop what they were doing, and he said, folks, sit down right now. We've got to take off immediately, or we will not leave Huntsville today. And so we got out of there. I guess we got out of there right before it really got bad. And I was up at West Point that night. My son was in the barracks with the football players, and I was just sitting in the room, hanging out. And I tried to call my wife and daughter and kept getting a fast busy. And finally, after quite some time, I got through to them. And I said, hey, what's going on? How are you guys doing? And they said, what is wrong with you? You don't know what's going on? I said, no, I have no idea. They said, turn on the TV. And that's when I found out what had happened. And after that, my son and I traveled back towards Huntsville, but we couldn't get a plane in here for quite some time because of the devastation and the power. And when we finally did fly in, it was one of the weirdest sights because nobody had power yet. And everything in Huntsville was pitch black except the airport. And it was a weird day. Weird day.
Yeah, that's one of those times, too, because, I mean, we were working 12-hour shifts in TV. All the TV stations were, and not to put myself anywhere near in the category of emergency personnel, but just trying to relay information for people who were listening or watching what they could on batteries or whatever. But it highlighted with me just having a really good preparedness plan about what would you do, because, I mean, we lost power for like a week. And what would you do in that situation? It was a really a big thought exercise for that. So, I mean, I remember sitting and just running an inverter in the car just to be able to charge cell phones to have some communication, and realizing and just going out and looking at all the darkness and all the damage and everything, and coming back and realizing that I had a warm place with a generator running, so I had power and I had internet and I had all this other stuff. Just how lucky I was to have something like that, and there were so many people that didn't.
Yeah, it was a disaster, and I'm sure this day brings back a lot of bad memories for a lot of folks, and hopefully we won't have that happen again. We do have some weather coming in tonight, but I don't think any tornadic activity. So with that, Brian, let's go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by our first guest, Mr. Corey Hill.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
If you've ever been in a car wreck, it almost feels like being in a movie. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people every day.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck and need a lawyer, is bigger better?
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family.
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Having thousands of cases is impressive, but do you want to be just a case number, one with lots of digits?
Or do you need a lawyer who gets to know you? With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, when you've been injured, we take the time to help.
Even in your hospital room.
Because at the Lackey Law Firm, you're not a number. We treat you like family, because that's what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
And if you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are our grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and this summer we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
For over 50 years, our mission, do the right thing and make long-term decisions. We value our customers, and we invest in supporting them.
TLG is consistently adding services to our own technology to automate and provide the best support possible to you.
We have the strongest guarantees in the industry. You can't just tell people you're going to provide good support. You have to prove it with your actions.
Have you tried indoor golf yet? You need to check out The Golfus. The Golfus is Huntsville's newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue. Spend an hour on the virtual range working on your game or play more than 2,000 golf courses. Our grand opening pricing makes us the best value in town. And if you really love it, grab a limited time, unlimited golf membership for only $99 a month. Get all of the details at thegolfus.com.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. This is The Point with Bill Crawford. This is Talk Radio WZZN, and we are glad to have you with us today. However you may be listening, there's lots of ways you can be doing that. And you can do it on your HD radio. You can do it on the app. You can do it on Twitter. I didn't mean to say Twitter. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it all kinds of ways. And we are glad now to be joined by Mr. Corey Hill on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Corey, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here, Mr. Bill.
Hey, well, good. Good to hear from you. Let me take just a moment to introduce you to our audience. And Corey Hill is the mayor of Douglas in Marshall County. He is a lifelong Republican, a dedicated grocery store operator, cattle farmer, and a poultry farmer. And he is not, however, a row crop farmer. He has deep roots in rural life, and he balances the demands of agriculture and public safety with a steady hand and a passion for community development. On his fourth-generation family-run farm, again, Corey raises cattle and poultry, and because of this, he has a strong connection to the land and the values of hard work and sustainability that farmers need to have. And by staying hands-on in his agricultural operations on an actual working farm, he knows what has to happen with food security, land use, and economic development. Corey is a mayor who is known for his approachable leadership style and his practical problem solving. His leadership style and extensive knowledge in the actual day-to-day operations of running a working farm and a small business will translate well to Alabamians if he becomes the next Commissioner of Agriculture. Corey, did I forget anything?
Lord, that's way too long of an introduction there, Bill. No, that sounds good.
Well, it's a long introduction because it's needed. And one thing I find fascinating as I was, prepping for our discussion is the actual amount of stuff, I say stuff in quotes, that the Department of Agriculture does. It's not just about farming. In fact, the Department of Agriculture, probably from the grocery store to the gas tank to everything in between, it has an impact on Alabama's citizenry every day. Tell us a little bit about what the Department of Agriculture does.
Well, Bill, you're exactly right. It affects everyone every day. And as I've been traveling the state speaking to people, I was in a group of ladies one day at lunch, and one of them asked what the Ag Commissioner role is, and I named a few things there, and she spoke up and said, you know what? I didn't think that pertained to me. I've never voted for that spot. And I just started then, as I was speaking around the state, I started kind of, maybe educating folks a little bit about what that does, because I think most people do think it's about to do with actual farmers and farming. But it's basically a regulatory agency. Most people's familiar with the gas pump, the tags on the gas pumps, and what the Ag Commissioner does is regulate the industry and make sure that if you're pumping a gallon of gas, that you actually get a gallon, and make sure if you're pumping 93 octane, you're not getting 87 octane. They analyze those. And, we operate a grocery store, my family does as well, in Douglas. And one thing the Ag Department does in grocery stores is they'll come in our stores periodically, and they'll check dates on foods, especially the perishable foods, the meats and produce and dairy items and baby food particularly. They make sure nobody's selling those things out of date. And then baby formula is a big thing they check. And then another thing that can happen is we're talking about the tornadoes today, the anniversary of that. If there's a major crisis like a April 11th tornado and there's no power, the Ag Department is dispersed around amongst the whole state. Guys go out and they go in these stores and make sure if your power's off that you're not selling products that should be refrigerated that's not. And so that's the kind of emergency deal they do in those situations. So basically, it's a regulatory agency, a consumer protection agency that protects the consumer. And another example, right quick, they regulate the pest control companies that spray your house, and the guys that mow your yard and spray the herbicide on your grass. They regulate those guys. It's really a lot to it. I think there's 18 departments down there. There's over 300 employees. It's one of the top three departments in the state, behind DOT and ALEA.
Well, that's something I bet that our listeners, I can tell you this, I didn't know that. And tell us a little bit more about the inspection of food. I think that's fascinating, especially the meat and the produce. Do they just come in on a random basis, sort of like the people who inspect the restaurants you see there? Well, that's not you guys, is it? That's the Department of Health, right?
Right. That's the health department, and it's exactly the same way. It's a random periodic check. It could be quarterly. It's quarterly or sooner. And it depends on how many violations you have. If you have violations, of course, they'll be knocking on your door more often. But they do come by unannounced. And one thing they do too, there's multiple labs in the state. There's a big lab in Montgomery, but they come in and buy groceries. Basically, they'll grab some hamburger meat, for instance, and make sure if you say it's like 90% lean and it's really 75% lean, they make sure you're not trying to dupe the customer and charge them a higher price for a lower quality meat. They make sure that in Alabama, you have to have country of origin labeling on your produce, your vegetables, and they'll check the invoices and make sure that if you go in and buy apples, there should be a sign at the store level where those apples come from, what country. It don't have to be the city or state, but just the country. Now, for instance, a lot of things like bananas, for instance, have a sticker on the product. If those stickers are on there, the retailer is not required to have a sign on the product. The sticker suffices. And I know every device doesn't have a sticker, so let's just say if 1 in 5 or 1 in 4 items has a sticker, then that's usually good enough for them to pass the test.
That is fascinating. Well, let me ask you this. When you go into a restaurant, normally you see pretty prominently displayed their score. And in fact, also on the local news outlets, you also will get a report from those guys about restaurants who just aren't, pun intended, cutting the mustard. So are those scores on grocery stores or are they required to be displayed somewhere where people can see them? I've never seen one before.
No, the agriculture department doesn't really score stores. What they do is they come in and basically, nowadays in this day and time, kind of come in and show their ID badge and give you a card before they go in the store. Back in those days, they just come in and grab a buggy and start going around the store. But they introduce themselves now. But they'll go and check items, and what they do, just a quick example, they'll grab a shopping cart and they'll just go around the store looking for items, and they'll put stuff in that cart that they need to talk to you about that's bad. If it's out of date, things like that. It's kind of a sliding scale. If you've got a pack of bologna that goes out of date, it went out of date yesterday, it's not going to count as many points as a pack of bologna on the shelf that's been out of date 30 days. So it's kind of a point system. And if you get a few points, they kind of write you a warning. But if you get a lot of points, they kind of give you a bill and you got to send a check in as a punishment. And I know we don't like to see, as a restaurant owner, you wouldn't want to see that bad health score on the news at night, but you sure don't want to have to write a check to the state if you're a business owner either. So they do a pretty good job of kind of policing themselves in most instances, and it's usually not an issue. So there's not a score per se up there, but they can get you financially if you aren't doing a good job, and nobody wants to do that. So typically they do a good job. Another quick example is like the baby food I mentioned before. A baby food out of date is worth more points than a pack of bologna. And you think that makes sense because babies typically have a smaller immune system, more likely to get sick. And, of course, as adults, we should be checking the dates on the baby food we feed them. However, some people don't do that. So they really put a lot of pressure on the baby food industry to make sure it's safe as it can be so children don't get sick.
Well, tell us a little bit more about the gas pump regulation because, I think everybody is familiar with that, and I think the sticker even has the name of the Commissioner of Agriculture on there. So do they just randomly go around and test, or are they required to test each gas pump in the state on a systemic basis?
They are required to test each one on a systemic basis, but it's randomly done. It has to be done once a year, and they will go do that randomly, of course. But if they get calls from the public, which happens often, if you go to your local gas station and you feel like you had a 5-gallon can and you put 3 gallons in it and it charges you 5 gallons, then something ain't right. You can call into the state in Montgomery and they'll send somebody up there, pretty quick to check that out. And they get a lot of calls now with people complaining about the receipt paper in the pumps. A lot of people don't like to go in the store to get a receipt, and that's kind of regulated. That's a rule that you have to have the receipt paper in there. A lot of people don't know that, but some people don't want a receipt, and I guess some of those guys leave it out so they don't have to waste paper because people get it and throw it away. But that's something they should have out there ready to grab and go if you want a receipt when you're pumping your gas.
Well, I'm the kind of guy who I want that receipt, and I do it every time, and I'm the kind of guy who gets aggravated when the paper doesn't come out. But one other quick question on gas pumps. I've seen something about this before. I'm just curious if the Agriculture Department has anything to do with it, and that's where bad people, nefarious characters will put some kind of little gizmo on the pump where you insert your debit card and try to steal your money. Do y'all regulate that, or is that just a police matter?
That's the Attorney General. That'd be a police matter. That's not run through the Ag Commissioner's Department.
Wow.
I'm sure they get the original call on that. That's basically theft or fraud, maybe, and they may get that call, but they work with the station owner, I'm sure, but they do send that over to the Attorney General's office for processing. Another thing I'll point out, you didn't ask me, but people do ask me this from time to time. The Ag Department has absolutely nothing to do with gas prices.
Oh, you know what? You are a mind reader because that was absolutely the next question on my list. I know y'all don't have anything to do with it, but can you do something about it if you see, some egregious violation where somebody's charging way more than they should, or again, is that not in your lane?
No, it's not really in our lane. There is calls made to Montgomery about that. If you see, like, when the war first started a month or so ago, prices jumped up pretty quick, and people were calling about that. It's my understanding. I had a guy call me that I know that's in the gas business, and, he said they're price gouging, and they may have been potentially, but it's not illegal to price gouge unless the governor declares a state of emergency. A lot of people don't know that. So if the guy's gouging you and he is, you just got to go somewhere else and shop at that moment.
Well, that's a good thing to know. I didn't know that about the state of emergency. So what about livestock? What does the Ag Commissioner's office have to do with regulating livestock and making sure that the cattle that people buy and sell are healthy and okay to eat?
Yeah. So there's a guy or person that goes to every livestock sale in Alabama at all the auctions. There's a state representative sitting there at the sale, and they observe the animals. They'll make sure they're being treated carefully and properly cared for, got water and food, and they sit during the sale and watch to make sure they're being handled properly during the sale. And they also record and log down the sale prices as the sale moves along, and that's where you see a lot of you can look online in any state and get the weekly average of cattle prices, and that's done because the guy from the ag department sitting there, taking notes during the sale.
That's interesting. Well, let me ask you this. You said you had, or not yet, but you said the ag department has over 300 people, plus or minus a few. Are they all located out of Montgomery, or are there, satellite offices throughout the state?
Satellite offices per se. There is some laboratories like at Huntsville at the college, and up at Snead State there's a lab, and some in South Alabama where you can take, like, I'm gonna go a long way around to answer this question, but if you had a dead cow and didn't know what was killing your cattle, or even chickens, but the poultry industry uses it probably more than anybody. But if you had a big death event and wanted to find out what was going on, or if you had a sick cow before it even died, you could load it up and take it to the laboratory in Boaz, and they would do an autopsy on that cow and let you know what the problem was. And that's something done for free by the state ag department. So, what was your original question?
You tell me, I forgot. How about let's change the subject? That's a good time to change the subject. So let me ask you this. Obviously, you have a political bent in your body as you're a mayor now. What made you say, hey, I want to run for the Commissioner of Agriculture?
Well, I heard a guy talking the other day, and he said, when you decide you're going to run for office, something triggers that in your heart or mind or desire. It could be one event like a lightning strike, or it could be a slowly gradual process. Everything's different. Everybody's different. What triggered it with me is, of course, I'm at a point in my life. We have 3 grown children, and our kids are back at the farm and our business running those things now, and we're just kind of in their way, so to speak. But I farm full time. We have 5 breeder chicken houses, and we have about 120 mama cows on our farm, and we make our living farming. And I think it's time we had a production agriculture farmer as the ag commissioner. I have so many friends that are farmers at row crop and other industries, and they're struggling right now. And people don't seem to care across this country where their food comes from. Certainly our elected officials in Washington don't seem to care. And we've got to have a voice for the farmer. And I think that's a perfect opportunity in my life to be that voice and fight for farmers. 2 things, there's multiple things the ag commissioner will do every day. 2 things I'll focus on every day will be food safety and farmer profitability. We've got to keep our farmers in business so we can eat Alabama-grown food, or we're going to be a hurting country and a hurting nation if we ever get to that point.
I couldn't agree more. I like that Alabama food. One other kind of tangential question is, how dependent is the industry of agriculture in Alabama on the immigrant workforce?
There's a pretty good bit of immigrants on the workforce. People say, I hear it too, around the communities, just arrest them, send them all back. And, if we send all of them back, I guess is quote unquote, our economy would crash. And I think people see, people mowing yards and roofing houses and building houses. I mean, they're not all born and raised U.S. citizens. And there's got to be a way we do that is satisfactory to the consumer and the farmer and the worker. Those guys all need workers. And people say sometimes they're suppressing wages. And I don't know if you've ever hired a Hispanic or a foreign person to do work for you lately, but I don't think the wages are any less than anybody else would, charge for those jobs. It's pretty expensive to put a roof on now and build a house. So we got to be dependent upon our foreign workers. And our federal government has done a better job lately of reducing those costs to get them here legally to work on high work visas. It's just kind of ridiculous what the federal government had done the rules required to get someone here and their salary you had to pay them. It was nearly double what you could pay a local person for. And that has helped some, but we still got to continue to work on that at the federal level. That's definitely a federal issue, but we need workers, period, whether they be local or foreign.
All right. Well, hey, that's a good answer. Thank you, sir. One thing I always like to do as my arch enemy, the clock, stares me in the face, is I like to ask people such as yourself to have the final word, and you tell the listeners why they should vote for you as the Commissioner of Agriculture.
Thank you. So you can check me out at CoreyHill4Alabama.com. But as I said before, I'm a full-time food-producing agriculture farmer, and we haven't had that person as our ag commissioner since Albert McDonald was our ag commissioner in the late 80s. He was a production ag guy, and we've had some great ag commissioners, but we got a chance to elect a food-producing ag commissioner from North Alabama even, and we hadn't had a Republican elected from North Alabama since Albert McDonald was. And I think we got an opportunity here, and I'd love for people to check me out and see what I stand on, what my passion is, and love to have your vote on May 19th.
Hey, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate that. And what I will do, I'll send you the audio of this that you can listen to or use it however you see fit. So thank you for your time, Mr. Hill.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it very much.
Yes, sir. And so, Brian, let's go ahead and take a break. That was Corey Hill, a Commissioner Agriculture candidate on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We shall return.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfers' elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
Have you tried indoor golf yet? You need to check out The Golfus. The Golfus is Huntsville's newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue. Spend an hour on the virtual range working on your game or play more than 2,000 golf courses. Our grand opening pricing makes us the best value in town. And if you really love it, grab a limited time, unlimited golf membership for only $99 a month. Get all of the details at thegolfus.com.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
TLG's Next Level software team tackles your automation bottlenecks, saving our customers precious time and money.
This resource is unique to Huntsville and Birmingham, and I urge you to ask about it.
From the largest to the smallest companies, TLG is here for you.
TLG is doing the right thing for all aspects of your company.
Just ask anyone.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Fox 54 weather impact meteorologist Emily Owen. We'll see partly sunshine for this Monday across the Tennessee Valley. High temperatures warming back into the low 80s for the afternoon. Heading into our Monday night, a round of showers and potentially a few thunderstorms will move through. We'll see low temperatures fall into the low 60s for the overnight.
Your Fox 54 forecast, only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Talk Radio WZZN, and this is The Point with Bill Crawford. That's me. Along with producer extraordinaire Brian Temple. We are glad to be here with you on this day, which is April 27th, the 15th anniversary of the tornado outbreak in Alabama that was pretty devastating, and hopefully everyone has recovered from that, and hopefully we won't have another one of those. That was a generational type event, I hope, really do. Also today, just on a lighter note, today is Babe Ruth Day. Babe Ruth is, if you're not a baseball fan, you should. If you live in America, you probably know who Babe Ruth is. He was the star of Major League Baseball in the early 20s and 30s, led the career leader in home runs for many, many years, was 714 until he was passed by Hank Aaron, and then Hank Aaron was subsequently passed by Barry Bonds. But today is Babe Ruth Day. One thing I do want to give a little perspective on is something that happened this weekend I've briefly mentioned earlier, and that was an assassination attempt on the president and cabinet members, and pretty much anybody else who was in that room supposedly was a target of the assassin. You know, that got me to reflect a little bit about assassination attempts on presidents in the United States of America. And sadly, we have a fairly large history of that, and I'll cover some of those. Some are very familiar, some you probably don't even know about. But before 1900, there were two successful assassinations. I'm sure most people recall that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865, but I doubt many people know that James Garfield, president, was assassinated in 1981. So let's move to a little more of a modern area, and we'll start in 1901, where William McKinley was attending the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York, and he was shot by an anarchist, and 8 days later he died, and this led to the presidency of Theodore Roosevelt, who was subsequently reelected. And later, in 1912, Theodore Roosevelt had an assassination attempt on him while he was in Milwaukee campaigning for office. He was shot in the chest, and he was a pretty tough guy, though. He survived it.
He finished the speech.
Yeah, he finished the speech. And I think the bullet remained lodged in his body for the rest of his life, but it was partially blocked by some sort of book that he had in his pocket. It may have even been a Bible. But let's continue to move on. 1933. Franklin Roosevelt was not even sworn in yet as the president, but We had a person in Miami, Giuseppe Zangara, fired shots at President Roosevelt, soon to become President Roosevelt. He was unharmed, but the Chicago mayor lost his life in that assassination attempt. Most everybody in America is familiar with the darkest day in American history, and that was November 22nd when John Fitzgerald Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas. Most people who are my age or thereabouts can remember that very distinctly. Also, let's move forward to 1975. Gerald Ford, who was pretty much a non-controversial president, but was somebody tried to kill him 2 times in 17 days. On September 5th, Squeaky Fromm, who was one of Charles Manson's disciples, was going to try to shoot Gerald Ford, but her gun did not fire. And then on September 22nd, Sarah Jane Moore fired a shot at Ford in San Francisco, but she missed. And then 1971. Now 81. The attempt on Roosevelt was at the Washington Hilton by John Hinckley, and that's where they were last night, absolutely in the Hilton Hotel. The bullet did not hit Reagan directly. It ricocheted, went into his chest and pierced his lung. And frankly, people don't realize how close Ronald Reagan came to losing his life that day. And then in 1994, there's a pretty much forgotten about incident with Bill Clinton, where a man named Francisco Duran fired 29 shots at the White House, but nobody was hurt. And of course, recently we've had President Trump, somebody took shots at him at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, striking him in the ear. And then we had another person who camped out at his golf course in Florida and never actually got a shot off, but he was captured before he did. And of course, this weekend we had the incident at the Hilton Hotel again, where the gentleman got through the first ring of security, but he was on a different floor. He never really even got close to where the politicians were. But it is still, he is being charged with an attempted assassination of the President of the United States. So, this is horrible. This is a part of our history that is not a very good thing to remember or reflect upon. But I just wanted to make the point that if you look into this, we're no stranger to this. It's happened in our great country many, many times, and hopefully people will stop using that as a means to advance their political agenda or whatever agenda they're trying to pursue. It doesn't solve anything. So let's go ahead now and take a break, and we'll come back and wrap this hour up.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
Have you tried indoor golf yet? You need to check out The Golfus. The Golfus is Huntsville's newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue. Spend an hour on the virtual range working on your game or play more than 2,000 golf courses. Our grand opening pricing makes us the best value in town. And if you really love it, grab a limited time, unlimited golf membership for only $99 a month. Get all of the details at thegolfus.com.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
Baumhauer's Restaurant, legendary food and legendary fun. Whether you're craving the freshest seafood from Alabama's Gulf Coast, juicy chicken or char-grilled steaks seared to succulent perfection, you're craving Baumhauer's Restaurant. Add to that a sports-themed atmosphere and HD flat screens every place you look. For a sneak peek at the menu, go to baumhauers.com. Legendary food, legendary fun. Baumhauer's Restaurant.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. Taking care of your property yourself can be a real headache. Eagle can handle it for you. They offer full landscaping services, irrigation, mowing, bush hog, and can install plants and trees, sod, and even landscape borders. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
You need a lawyer, and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family, because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
He's still a soldier. His blood runs red, white, and blue.
Welcome back, everybody, to this great April day, April 27th. Glad to have you with us on a Monday. Hope you're enjoying starting your week off with us. We just had the candidate for the Commissioner of Agriculture, Corey Hill. I was personally fascinated by all the stuff that department actually does. Looks like agriculture reaches many, many facets of our life. And if you want to hear that, or you heard it and want to tell your friends that they missed a pretty interesting interview, go to talkradiowzzn.com. Click on podcast, view episodes, and there producer Brian Temple has got everything in there in sequential order from day one on January 20th to today, shortly after the end of the show. Tell your friends about it, share the links with them, and we would love to have you guys listening to our show both live and historically. And we're going to come back, and we're going to talk a little bit about something else that happened in Alabama this week in Talladega.
Yeah, we got some sports coming up. Talladega. We've got some baseball, and we've got a lot of great sports happening this weekend. We're going to introduce you to Gabe Glassman from Fox 54. They're a sports guy over there, and I haven't met him yet. I'm interested in meeting him, and if he's like everyone else we've met over there, you're going to like him, and we will too.
I've seen Gabe on TV, but I'm looking forward to talking to him today. So we're going to take a break, folks. We will be back in a few minutes. This is The Point with Bill Crawford and producer Brian Temple. Back shortly.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well, because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
HD 97.7.2 WZZN FM Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Talk Radio WZZN.
Simonetti, and this is the Fox Business Report.
A choppy trading session with the major averages mixed. However, the NASDAQ and S&P 500 are on track for new record highs. Oil prices continue to spike, with U.S. crude trading around $97 a barrel. Tech and financials are gaining while consumer staples are lagging. The Magnificent Seven big cap tech stocks are mixed as big tech earnings take center stage this week. 177 companies in the S&P 500 are slated to report earnings this week, with 11 of the Dow members posting results. And Eli Lilly continues its buying spree and will be snapping up Ajax Therapeutics, agreeing to pay up to $2.3 billion in a deal that will bolster Lilly's blood cancer portfolio. An oil producer, Shell, is looking to expand its reach in Western Canada and is buying ARC Resources for $13.6 billion. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
I'm Benjamin Hall, Fox News senior correspondent and New York Times best-selling author, and I'm searching for heroes. Every Monday, I'll speak with a few silent but noteworthy heroes, everyday people who illuminate stories of compassion and are true embodiments of heroism. Make sure you subscribe to my podcast, Searching for Heroes with Benjamin Hall, wherever you download podcasts, and please leave a rating and a review.
This is Talk Radio WZZN.
1819 News.
Good afternoon. I'm Carl Brady for Andrea Tice. A missing hiker is safe after a high-tech rescue Sunday evening in Anniston. Police say the man became disoriented after dark on the Camp McClellan horse trails, prompting an urgent search in difficult nighttime conditions. Officers deployed a thermal drone, which quickly detected the hiker's body heat and pinpointed his location. Using the drone's spotlight, crews guided him back to safety. Authorities say the hiker was not injured. More news coming after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness license plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org. That's ATEASE.org.
Crowds gathered in Coleman over the weekend for this year's Alabama Strawberry Festival, drawing visitors from across the region and beyond. The two-day event featured fresh strawberries, local vendors, live music, and family attractions. Organizers say the festival continues to grow, with attendees traveling from as far away as Hawaii to take part. The annual celebration highlights local flavor, community spirit, and one of Alabama's most popular spring traditions. After a couple of weeks of lower prices, drivers across Alabama are seeing higher prices at the pump again. In Huntsville, gas is averaging around $3.80 per gallon, with similar trends in Decatur and Florence. Analysts point to rising crude oil costs and increased seasonal demand as key factors.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This is Talk Radio WZZN.
Hey, I'm Bobby White, and we're making room for new shipments during our spring clean out at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. With your good credit, save thousands with 3.9% financing for up to 84 months on new 25 F-150s with STX 4x4s starting at under $44,000. New 25 Explorers start at under $36,000, or choose 2.9% for up to 84 months. Get 5.9% financing for up to 84 months on new 25 Broncos, or choose $2,750 customer cash plus 2-year 24,000-mile complimentary maintenance. And while they last, new 25 Bronco Sports come with your choice of $2,500 customer cash or 5.9% financing for up to 84 months. And there's never any hidden markups or dock fees. Don't miss your chance to save big with spring clean-out pricing on all new 25s. We hope to see you real soon at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline in Decatur, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are a grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and this summer we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Fox 54 weather impact meteorologist Emily Owen. We'll see partly sunshine for this Monday across the Tennessee Valley. High temperatures warming back into the low 80s for the afternoon. Heading into our Monday night, a round of showers and potentially a few thunderstorms will move through. We'll see low temperatures fall into the low 60s for the overnight.
Your Fox 54 forecast, only on Talk Radio WZZN. This is The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN. A compassionate, conservative, reasoned voice. Not just for today's headlines, but for issues that matter to you. Perspective from a distinguished career of service in the U.S. Army. Courage from hours in the pilot seat of a military helicopter in war and in peace. Knowledge of cultures from around the world. Experience from a lifetime of service to America. What matters to you, from the dinner table to the halls of power. Conservative, compassionate, reason. That's The Point.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Talk Radio WZZN, and this is The Point with Bill Crawford and producer Brian Temple. Lots of ways you can be listening to us these days. I think the preferred way, I would think, is to go get our app at the App Store, whatever app store you use. Just search for Talk Radio WZZN. You can get the app and you can carry us with you wherever you may happen to be. What are the other ways, Brian? There's many more than that.
Well, if you're listening there or on our website, talkradiowzzn.com. Also, The Point with Bill Crawford has a YouTube channel. Also, we're streaming on the Talk Radio WZZN Facebook page. And, of course, since we're a radio station, 97.7 HD2. But the best way to listen is the way you are right now. We're glad to have you.
That's right. The best way to listen is how you're listening right now. And usually, always on Mondays at this segment of the show, we have a guest from Fox 54 News. And today our guest is from Fox 54, and his name is Gabe Glassman. Gabe, how you doing?
Hey,
Doing good, guys. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Looking forward to talking with you guys.
Well, if you don't mind, we haven't had you on before, so let me take just a moment to introduce our listeners to you. Gabe is obviously with Fox 54 in Huntsville, and he's been there since June of 2024. Gabe is originally from South Florida, and ever since he was a little shaver, he has wanted to be on TV in front of the camera, and he made it his mission to reach for the sky and achieve his dreams. He is a South Florida Bull, earning a bachelor's degree in mass communications, broadcast news, and a minor in professional and technical communications. While Gabe studied at South Florida, he did a lot of stuff. He completed 6 internships, one most recently with Fox 13 in Tampa as a newsroom intern. He spent time with College Hockey South as a lead anchor and producer and play-by-play announcer. There he created College Hockey Game Day. And he also spent the summer of 22 with NBC6 in Miami as their sports intern, and he was with Florida Focus, the USF's University of South Florida's newsroom on their local public TV station. He will always remember his time where he worked as a camera operator for the Florida Athletic University versus USF men's basketball game in 2024, which was on ESPN. And that game witnessed one of the biggest upsets in school history when the Bulls took down the Owls. Gabe has a love of all sports, especially those in the Miami area, the Heat, the Marlins, and the Florida Panthers. And Gabe is also a fan of the Seattle Sounders soccer team. Gabe, did I miss anything? Does that about sum you up?
Well, that about sums up everything. You missed the Dolphins, though. You can't leave those guys out. And of course, since I moved here just about 2 years ago, I've kind of gotten to love all the local teams that we have here in North Alabama. So I'll always love it. But all those internships that I did kind of prepared me to come here. It's Huntsville's my first stop out of USF, and I've loved it. I love living here. I love working in this area. Everybody's awesome here, but really the big thing is, as well as news I cover. Recently, I've moved into the halfway into the sports department, so I'm covering that as well, and that's been going on for about 2-3 months now. So it's been great.
Yeah, I've seen you on the broadcast. You do a great job. One thing I would like to ask you about old South Florida is, were you in attendance at the game when South Florida almost sent the Alabama football fans into heart failure when they almost beat them?
That was a depressing day for South Florida fans. I will, because that was the day. If you remember that game, there was like a 2-hour rain delay, and
right.
I didn't cover that game. I was a student, and I was in the stands. It was an awesome game. You remember how much defense was in that game, probably because there was literally no other way to get points on the board because of how much rain there was. Those games were some of my favorite memories at Raymond James Stadium, and of course I was there. I remember it like it was yesterday, and USF was close. USF was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be in that game. So, and then the year after, of course, as well, USF almost upset them when the Crimson Tide were introducing Nick Saban Field. So
I do not have good South Florida memories versus playing Alabama. And I do remember, I think the rainy game was the one where Alabama was just having horrible quarterback play. And I think that's when Jalen Milroe finally came out in the second half and established himself as the quarterback for the rest of the year. Well,
I remember that, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. It said since the age of 10, what was your first foray into the covering of anything? Was it at South Florida, or did you do something prior to that?
No, yeah. So when I was 10 years old, I think even before I was 10 years old, I think every kid that is into sports watches ESPN Sports Center. Neil Everett and Stan Verrett were the two anchors. Always when I woke up in elementary school at 7 a.m., I always had my TV on. I could never fall asleep without the TV on for some reason. And one day I woke up and said, "That's what I want to do." All these kids are like, "I want to be this, I want to be that." I said, "I want to be a sports reporter," and then it's kind of gone from there. Before I got to USF, I was doing play-by-play in middle school, sports broadcasting camps. They have camps all over the country in the summer. I spent years with them, with Jeremy Treatman and those guys out there. I ended up being a counselor for them, and they teach everything you need to know about play-by-play, sideline reporting. They do it. Then those guys really shaped me up. And then, of course, when I got to high school, I was with our high school TV station, and in my senior year, I was able to be the sports director over there, and that's just in charge of making sure all the games get filmed. When I say that I really mean it. I mean, this is it's obviously still very early on in my career, but this is something I've been working towards since I can remember. So and every single opportunity I get really means a lot to me right now. So, and always.
Well, it sounds to me like you're on the correct path, and we're going to take a break here in a minute and come back and talk more about your recent foray down to Talladega. But just one quick question for about a 30, 40-second answer. How hard is it to get into this business nowadays? I know you had all the degrees and credentials, but is it if somebody's listening and they say, "Hey, I want to do that too," how tough is it to become a sports broadcaster?
It's extremely difficult. When I was at the end of my time at USF, I was looking for jobs, and thankfully I had news training. I think I did 2 years ago. I did 75 plus applications, and I only got 4 interviews. And all of them were for news, no sports. So it's extremely difficult right now. But I think if you're listening to this and you're trying to get into this, I mean, you don't stop working. You get knocked down, you got to get back up. So that's the mentality I've had, and I'm again grateful for the opportunities that I've had up to this point.
Well, we are glad to have you here, and if you can hold on for just a few minutes, we're going to go ahead and take a short break, and we will come back and talk to you about Talladega.
All right.
Back soon.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfer's elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
When a team sticks together, it shows in the way they work and the way they treat you.
We don't just hire great people, they stay. On average, our managers have been with us over 15 years, and company-wide turnover is under 3%.
It's a culture built on integrity and heart.
When you call, you get someone who knows your name, understands your business, and is invested in your success.
And that means service you can count on every time.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfers' elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Talk Radio WZZN, and this is The Point with Bill Crawford, producer extraordinaire Brian Temple, and we're with you for I'd say another 30, 40 minutes or so, and we're glad you took some time to join us today. And we have a special guest on the line. We're going to continue our conversation with Gabe Glassman. Gabe, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Well, good. Glad you didn't hang up on us. That's nice of you. So let me ask you this. You've been in this town, you've sat down, on the job for a couple of months?
2 years.
Oh, a couple of months and plus many, many more months. So here in this sports-crazed state of Alabama, I want to ask you first the favorite story you've covered that was not sports related, and then we'll get into sports.
Oh, non-sports related. Oh my goodness. There's I'm gonna non-sports. Oh, I have one. This is in Athens. This was actually really at the start of my career here, and there was this one concert that happened. It was a just heat of the moment. We got a post from Keith Urban, the country music star, saying that he was going to make a stop, just do a pop-up concert in the parking lot of the Buc-ee's in Athens. And sure enough, I get the story. I get to go over there, and there's a stage set up. And as we're getting there, tons of people are there, and just thousands of people just pile into this parking lot in Athens, and Keith Urban just starts performing. That was so early on. I love that story just because of it was just so bizarre what happened, but it was so fun.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people, that's kind of like one of those things where so many people say they were there and you really wonder how many were, but were there signs or anything advertising that, or did people just happen to pull in and see it?
Quite literally, I think what happened was from what I understand, Keith Urban posted on his Instagram story flyer saying this time, Buc-ee's, Athens, Alabama. In this world of social media, it just spread like wildfire. And that's how people found out. And sure enough, all of a sudden we see everybody just pull up. We were all there. So that was I always remember that. That would probably one of the more fun stories that I've been able to cover here.
Well, let me ask you this, Gabe. While you were covering that story, did you get any insight as to how he decided to pick that Buc-ee's? I mean, that's kind of that's not like a spot that somebody would say, "Hey, let's go do a concert at the Buc-ee's in Athens." Any idea how he chose that?
Absolutely not. I mean, that is the question I honestly am still asking myself. I don't know. That was not a question that we asked. We weren't. I don't even think any of us heard from his team. We just know that he was there, and when that something like that happens, we go there. So that it's, again, I called it bizarre earlier. I think I'll stand by that. It's just heat of the moment stuff right there.
Well, if you're listening out there and you happen to know the answer to that question or would like to talk to Gabe or myself or Brian, give us a call, 256-382-0724. So I'm going to ask you the exact same question. What's your top sports story that you have covered?
Okay. So I know we're going to talk about Talladega, so I've been there twice. That's been great. But I also will go back to our time talking about the South Florida Bulls and Alabama in 2024, the season opener for Alabama. That was the opening of Nick Saban's field, and I was able to go down there to Tuscaloosa and cover the game. So I was covering my alma mater, and this is my first SEC football game that at least SEC team was home for. I've never been to an SEC football game. It was my first one, and Nick Saban's there. He's flying in from College game day. And I'm just following him the whole pregame, basically. And, there were times I was right next to him. And, you grow up in this industry, you know how much of an impact he has, especially in this state. I mean, so that was one of the cool – not only to experience the emotions of an SEC football game, but also to be right next to the legend he is. That was awesome.
Well, do you happen to? I don't remember the score of that game. Do you remember the score? I think it was pretty close.
I know. I do. I don't remember the exact score, but I know that USF kept it close for 3 quarters, and then Alabama realized they were Alabama again, and then they just blew them out of the water in the 4th quarter. So that's what I remember. USF almost edged it out, but Alabama came out on top of that one.
Well, South Florida is they're a real football program, and they have been for quite some time. So I bet that was a pretty cool story to cover. So now let's talk a little bit about what happened this weekend. Well, now let's digress for 1 second. When was the first time you covered the Talladega Speedway?
Last year. I was there last year for the first time. That was my second ever NASCAR race, and that was my first time at Talladega.
Well, what is your impression of Talladega? I'll tell you my little quick story on Talladega is I was in a civic club, and they allowed us to man a concession stand at Talladega, and we got, I think, 80% of the proceeds of what came from that concession stand. And to me, that's just a fascinating place, and when you go out there for the first time and watch those cars go by, it's just like, vroom, 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 vroom. Whoa, what just happened? I think I just missed it. So what was your first impression of Talladega?
My first impression of Talladega, it was just the size and magnitude of the place. I mean, they call the super speedways are huge, right? Growing up in Florida, I've been to Daytona. I haven't been to Daytona for a race, but I know, Daytona is a big track as well. But I mean, Talladega is just it just goes on forever. I mean, I feel like you never see the end of that place, and when it's packed with thousands upon thousands of people, it's loud. And where we are, we're fortunate enough to be on the photo towers that they have, and the communications team does a fantastic job over there. And I mean, we're right next to the track at these points, and these new Cup Series cars are loud. They're loud, and it is hard. It's heart pumping. So I love it.
Well, actually, the Talladega track is 2.66 miles long, and it is the longest track in NASCAR. So that's, the time I went there, you would watch them, and they would almost go out of sight, and then they'd make the far turn and come back. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I mean, I grew up near there in the shadow of Talladega, about 40 minutes away. And on race days at Talladega, you could hear the race if you were outside 40 minutes away up the road. That's how loud everything is at Talladega.
Well,
that's incredible.
That is incredible. So a couple of other things before we talk about this weekend. In your first coverage of Talladega, did you get into the infield? Did you get to do any camera work or just visiting down there? Because I've never been there, but I've heard it's a pretty fascinating place to go.
Yeah, it's awesome. Where they have a huge media center there, right next to trackside pit row, and so that's where we're kind of stationed there. And it's just driving in through the tunnel there. I mean, it is just like a miraculous sight. It's my first year, I will say, because I was very, ill-informed, and Google Maps didn't want to be my friend that day. It took me about 30 minutes to find my parking lot, just because of how much was going on over there. But once you got there, once you just get down there, it's just pure elation. Everybody's loving it. So, yeah.
Well, tell us some of the highlights of your coverage this year. When did you go down? Did you go down Friday for like, I think it's called the Xfinity race now, or did you just go for the race on Sunday?
Yeah, no, I was only there on Sunday this year. I kept my eye on it. On Saturday night I did some of the highlights from the ARCA series that they had there, and NEJ winning that one. But yesterday I was down for the Cup Series, and we got the another first-time winner at Talladega, first-time Cup Series winner Carson Hocevar. And what a moment that was. I mean, I feel, and if you watch that race, you see him hanging out the side of the car with his celebration, just driving it down the straight. I mean, that was hilarious. That was awesome. And so we got to talk to him after, and this guy's a young driver with Aspire Motorsports. He's lost a lot of races, and but he's got one. And when he crossed that finish line, I was right next to Victory Lane. The crowd just popped. Crowd just absolutely went crazy for him. So that was a cool moment to see yesterday.
Well, now, I know NASCAR has been troubled, not necessarily at the Talladega course, but some of the smaller speedways have been troubled by low attendance. What was they didn't really I watched a good bit of the race yesterday, never really gave some good shots of the stands. Was it packed down there?
I think I saw a few empty seats. I feel like from overall there. I mean, overall was pretty packed. I would say more packed than not packed, and especially where we are in the infield there. I mean, if the diehard fans that were camping out there, I mean, the infield was crowded with RVs. It was an RV every corner you went to. So. I mean, I feel like it was great attendance. I talked to a lot of people. I talked to a few people that we're going to be hearing from on Fox 64 later tonight. I talked to a couple families. One of them has been going for 30 years. Another one, it's their first year coming. And so I love hearing the people's stories that I talk to and about what they love about this. And it really, I mean, it's a cool experience for the fans, and the fans that are there. I understand there's low attendance number issues here and there, but Talladega, it's kind of hard to gauge. I would love to see an actual number. I'm not sure what the final count was, but I mean, it was loud. It was as loud as ever this year. So,
well, did you get to interview the winner of the race?
I did get to interview Carson Hocevar after. We heard from him. Directly after his time on Victory Lane. We were still on Victory Lane, and he was just still taking it all in. He was emotional. You can see it on his face. And I asked him about these emotions, and it's just he was all he could feel. He said he could feel light, all he felt light. And he said, he knew he would win this race. He had a feeling. He told me on Tuesday when he was driving down, he just knew because he's been performing well in these super speedways. They performed well in Daytona, and so now they're here, and so he's just happy to get this win number 1.
Wow, that's pretty cool to get to interview him. I got to ask you one more Talladega question, and then we'll talk maybe about some of the other sports you cover. Have you seen Talladega Nights?
Talladega Nights. Of course, I've seen Talladega Nights. Come on, Rick, I just want to go fast now. I just want to go fast.
That's required viewing, right?
Required viewing.
Well, you mentioned.
I feel like if you're gonna go down there, you have to, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that should be like a mandatory thing that comes with the ticket. You got to have a mandatory screening of it, and then just so you can gauge it. That'll be a fun thing, maybe for like a media access or like a fan access pass to go somewhere. That'd be fun.
Right. If you get a chance or some free time, it's worth going through the Motorsports Hall of Fame down there as well. It's really well done. They've got a lot of exhibits through the history of racing. You've got.
I need to go down there.
You mentioned being a Sounders fan. Have you taken any of the Huntsville City Football Club games?
Yeah, I've been to a few of those games. They're fun. I mean, they're fun. I really enjoy going down there. I love, I think when you grow up in Miami, you talk about big clubs. So the biggest thing for me, and just in general, was the culture shock that comes with, going from the major sports. In Miami, you have Inter Miami, how big they are right now. You go to HDFC. But what I really do love about HDFC and these, Rocket City Trash Bandits, Huntsville Havoc, how much fans of each prospective sport know about the teams. They know these players. They feel like so I really do love how much this city cares about their local sports teams here. That's what I've kind of seen.
Have you had a chance to cover anything about some of the work they're doing at Joe Davis Stadium? Some of the plans they have.
Yeah, I've covered the surrounding area once. From what I've driven by there a few times. It looks like a lot of it's going pretty well. I need to get an update with their team on it. But that whole area is being renovated over there. If you've driven by there, you have the Hattie B's chicken, and you have all these other retail shops that are going down there, and so it's being developed. It's being developed quickly over there. I think it's going to look really well when it's all done.
Coming through that and kind of transitioning over, what's your impression of Toyota Field compared to some of the other places you've seen?
Toyota, I will say this: Toyota Field is an awesome ballpark. I love. I always love seeing these minor league ballparks. Right. And Toyota Field, of course, I've covered their renovations extensively. Right. They're doing the renovations down in left field right now. That'll get them in MLB compliance. Those should be done by June 1st was the last update I got from General Manager Garrett Fairman. But that stadium is awesome. It's just it's a 6,000-7,000 seater stadium ballpark, I love it there. They have a great culture down there.
Yeah, and it's exciting too, especially with state softball or SEC softball. Championships coming there next year. I was impressed by the grounds crew how they were able to flip it from a baseball stadium to a football or softball stadium, and then back for the UNA game. So shout out to the grounds crew over there. But everything's really, really great. Is there something you're looking to cover as far as sports, or have you had a touch on all of it?
Oh man. I don't really look for things. I mean, I would love to cover. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get some World Cup coverage when it comes in June. Maybe I'll be able to go down to Atlanta. That's a dream. Yeah. But opportunities come and I take them. That's kind of my mentality with it. So any opportunity I'm going to take. It doesn't matter how big or how small. I want to be able to be there, So hopefully the biggest opportunities come, but any opportunity I'm going to be able to take.
Say yes and figure it out on the way, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, let me ask you one question. We're going to let you go here in a minute, but one thing I wonder is when you arrived in Huntsville, Alabama, did you have any idea you were in a hockey town?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the Huntsville Havoc games are some of the greatest hockey games I've ever been to.
I know, right?
Those are like, oh my goodness. These last 2 years with the Florida Panthers have been great. That's awesome. Unreal what the culture is at Huntsville Havoc games. I love going to those games. I love covering those games. Even as a fan, it's a great experience, especially because, Probst Arena is a smaller arena. Any seat is a great seat.
That's right.
And the SBHL has high flying action. So always love going there.
Hey, it's a lot of fun. I think they sell out most every game that they cover. So what's on your plate right now? Huntsville, the Trash Pandas, I think, is the only game in town. What are you looking forward to covering in the next month or so?
Yeah, what you got this week to start with?
This week at the end of this week, I'm going out of town. I'll be actually at F1 Miami down there. So
nice.
As a fan, I'll be down there.
Good for you.
But I get to see the family. But the next 2 days, we got Rocket City Trash Pandas and a few special. And I actually am working on a special project. Can't share too much about that right now. But I'll be down there. And of course, for the next couple weeks, our eyes are on high school baseball, high school softball, high school soccer. Their tournaments are coming up, and we're keeping an eye on it. I was at Hazel Green High School last week when they beat the Athens Golden Eagles in the first round of the playoffs, and
nice.
They'll be moving on. So we're keeping an eye on everything out here.
When you get ready for a special project, need some promotion, you call us back, right?
Hey, you'll be hearing about it soon. Don't worry.
Great.
Well, hey, we look forward to it, Gabe. And again, like Brian said, if you ever have anything you want to promote, just get in touch with us and we'll put you on the air and let you talk about it. So thank you for your time today and best of luck in your career. And there'll be plenty of sports to cover in the state of Alabama for you as you travel forward. And that's Gabe Glassman. He's with Fox 52 Sports. And Brian,
we appreciate meeting you, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having. Let me hang out with you guys. It's been great.
Yeah, come back. Talk to us some more. And speaking of that, we'll go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come back and finish up the hour.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
Hey, I'm Bobby White, and we're making room for new shipments during our spring clean out at Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. With your good credit, save thousands with 3.9% financing for up to 84 months on new 25 F-150s with STX 4x4s starting at under $44,000. New 25 Explorers start at under $36,000 or choose 2.9% for up to 84 months. Get 5.9% financing for up to 84 months on new 25 Broncos or choose $2,750 customer cash plus 2-year 24,000-mile complimentary maintenance. And while they last, new 25 Bronco Sports come with your choice of $2,500 customer cash or 5.9% financing for up to 84 months. And there's never any hidden markups or dock fees. Don't miss your chance to save big with spring clean-out pricing on all new 25s. We hope to see you real soon at Lynn Leighton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline in Decatur, or online anytime at lynnleightonford.com.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Baumhauer's Restaurant, legendary food and legendary fun. Whether you're craving the freshest seafood from Alabama's Gulf Coast, juicy chicken or char-grilled steaks seared to succulent perfection, you're craving Baumhauer's Restaurant. Add to that a sports-themed atmosphere and HD flat screens every place you look. For a sneak peek at the menu, go to baumhauers.com. Legendary food, legendary fun. Baumhauer's Restaurant.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back for 6 games, April 28th through May 3rd. Promotions include a James Spann bobblehead giveaway on the 28th, post-game fireworks to close out the night on the 1st and the 2nd, and kids run the bases after the game on the 3rd. Get your tickets and learn more about weekly promos by visiting tptix.com. That's tptix.com.
Let's rock it. Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Fox 54 Weather Impact meteorologist Emily Owen. Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms will be possible for this Monday night across the Tennessee Valley. Low temperatures fall into the low 60s for the overnight. Heading into our Tuesday, we'll keep scattered showers and maybe a few thunderstorms in the forecast through much of the day. High temperatures warm into the low 80s for the afternoon.
Your Fox 54 forecast, only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. Glad you're with us here on this Monday, April 27th. Hope you're having a good time. And you can also call us 256-382-0724. Brian Temple and I would be glad to chat with you.
It was nice to meet Gabe Glassman from Fox 54 last segment.
I enjoyed talking to him. I've seen him quite a few times on TV.
You know, I haven't got. I mean, I see Mo Carter all the time, but I don't ever see Gabe. So, of course, I kind of get away from my TV on the weekends. So maybe that's it.
Well, I see him all the time. He's a good guy. He's hard charging, and he's going to make a career out of this. One thing I would mention, and that's this past week we had Patrice Johnson on talking about Panoply, which I think was a pretty good success this weekend. I don't think they had the rain that they were anticipating. In fact,
the rain Saturday came in a little earlier than they were thinking, but it didn't last very long.
No, it didn't last long at all, and there was a little bit of, not much really, at my house Saturday night. But one thing I did want to mention, if you go to our Facebook page, just search for The Point with Bill Crawford, you will see a picture there that's actually a picture, not a picture, it's an avatar that I created of myself down at Panoply with my shirt on, with Winston the Dachshund on that. And also you will see that I am holding up a corn dog in that picture. The corn dog's real. My wife and I had heard rumor that there was going to be a corn dog food truck there from my home county of Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. They were actually from the city of Loretto, and lo and behold, there they were. And we went over there just like two hillbillies and got ourselves two of the best corn dogs that I believe I've ever had in my life. So that was worth the trip in and of itself. They had, about 230 booths down there of all kinds of arts and crafts and anything you could imagine. And on the way out, we got a nice hot piece of pizza, too. Really enjoyed our little visit to Panoply on Friday. And that little picture is right there on our Facebook page if you want to take a look at it. Some other things that are happening in the news, we were talking to Gabe about sports and all the stuff that's going on. Well, in Alabama, there is every year there's usually some chatter about sports betting and letting that happen and doing this and that, but it never gets anything more than lip service. But that may change one of these days. There's an entity called the Sports Betting Alliance that has given $2.5 million to Alabama political action committees, also known as PACs, over the last year. And the Sports Betting Alliance includes some names that you've heard about: Bet365, BetMGM, DraftKings, Fanatics, and FanDuel. These entities are sending money to our local and state legislatures, not our local legislators. And as they say, sometimes money talks. And with all of this money coming in to support candidates, maybe they're going to do something to change that. I'm not saying whether I'm for or against it, but we are one of the few states, and in fact, one of 2 states in the country that does not have a lottery. And most every state in the country is getting sports betting now, and it's everywhere. And I just wonder how long it's going to be before Alabama says it's going to be here. We just really don't know about that. We also talked a little bit about the weather. Well, right now, there's supposed to be a severe weather outbreak that's going to be hitting the Midwest, but it may make its way down here. In fact, it may make its way down here tonight. And if you've been watching that on the news, they've had just, we were talking about tornadoes earlier. Oklahoma and Texas have had some devastating tornadoes over the past couple of days, and hopefully they can dodge that again. But the last time I looked at the weather out there, they're still anticipating more tornadoes to come that way. So who knows what's going to happen with that. Another item in the news, and I thought this was kind of odd, is we, as the United States of America, said we are not sending our delegates over to the East, the Middle East, to Pakistan to negotiate a potential peace deal with the Iranian representatives. I think the president said there's just not enough in their offer for us to want to go. So the Iranian representatives decided to go to Russia to speak to President Vladimir Putin. And Lord only knows what that could lead to, but I certainly wish that and hope that the Americans can somehow get to the negotiating table and get this thing over with. Speaking of security risk, this week we have Britain's King Charles and Queen Camilla are coming for a visit with President Donald Trump. And with all the stuff that has been going on lately, you certainly hope that the U.S. can provide excellent security for these visitors and there will not be any trouble. But who knows how that is going to come out, but we do know that they are coming over to see us. So a lot of stuff happening this weekend, a lot of stuff that's going to happen this week. We hope you can be with us Tuesday through Friday. We have a lot. This week is going to be pretty much a political entity week, and we'd love to have you listen to us, and we're going to go ahead and take a break and come back and wrap this thing up.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfers' elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Baumhauer's Restaurant. Legendary food and legendary fun. Whether you're craving the freshest seafood from Alabama's Gulf Coast, juicy chicken or char-grilled steaks seared to succulent perfection, you're craving Baumhauer's Restaurant. Add to that a sports-themed atmosphere and HD flat screens every place you look. For a sneak peek at the menu, go to baumhauers.com. Legendary food, legendary fun. Baumhauer's Restaurant.
The LG software team brings you Bamboo HR. Bamboo streamlines everything from hiring to offboarding and eliminating manual HR tasks.
With Bamboo, our customers have saved time, stay organized, and keep employees happier with a seamless HR experience.
This is unique to Huntsville and Birmingham, and I urge you to ask about it.
Just ask anyone.
The ultimate golf experience is waiting for you at the Golfus. For a limited time, you can get an unlimited membership for only $99 a month. Hit balls on the range, play any of our 2,000 golf courses, have a graduation party, or host a corporate event. For all the details, go to thegolfus.com. We have 2 locations in Huntsville and a location soon coming to Hughes Road in Madison. That's thegolfus.com.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back for 6 games, April 28th through May 3rd. Promotions include a James Spann bobblehead giveaway on the 28th, post-game fireworks to close out the night on the 1st and the 2nd, and kids run the bases after the game on the 3rd. Get your tickets and learn more about weekly promos by visiting tptix.com. That's tptix.com.
Let's rock it.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
And I'm still hoping, waiting, praying I did not die in vain.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to wrap up another episode of The Point with Bill Crawford and producer extraordinaire Brian Temple. Glad you could be with us today. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Corey Hill, who's running for the Commissioner of Agriculture. Actually, a farmer who's going to be in that job if he wins. And we also had Gabe Glassman, who is a young sports reporter for Fox 54 for our Fox 54 Monday segment. He told us a little bit about all the things he's covered and a little bit of focus on Talladega, which he covered this past weekend, which was a great event. And tomorrow, one of the most interesting races in the state of Alabama is that for Public Service Commission. Public Service Commission has really been in the news lately with Governor Ivey and some of the stuff that has happened down there. Jim Ziegler is going to be our guest at 2:15 to talk to us a little bit about the Public Service Commission and how he thinks he can shape that outfit up. And our afternoon guest tomorrow in Veterans Corner is going to be retired Navy Captain Rick West, United States Naval Academy graduate from 1979, and we look forward to hearing him and telling him about that great organization and the many things they do. And folks, we're glad you joined us today, and remember, keep our servicemen in your thoughts and prayers, and we will look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the exact same time. And Brian, let's get out of here. I'm out of here. Bill Crawford.
There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the